Hey, how's it going? My name is Matt Singleton. You call me Pastor Matt or Brother Matt. I wanted to kind of like use this kind of time to introduce to you the concept of the church that we have going. We call it Freedom Church. I call it Freedom Baptist Church. But basically, me and some friends of mine have felt moved by God to kind of work on this. And, you know, as the name implies, we want to focus on this one concept, and that's freedom. You see, we live in a country that talks about freedom. It says that it was founded on freedom and liberty. But you know what? I think out there right now, there's a lot of slaves out there. I want to ask you something. Are you free? Are you really liberated? You see, we live in a world that thinks it's free because it's free. The Bible is that you can be free from God and yet be a slave to sin. And you see, the world that we live in is a world of slavery. Every day, you're in debt to somebody and you're paying out. And you don't have to necessarily be in debt to a person. You could be in debt to the world, to your own self. And you have to figure out how you're going to be free. See, if we don't have freedom, then we can't enjoy anything. How can you enjoy love if you're not free to enjoy love? How can you enjoy life if you're not free to live? You see, you have to have that ability. You have to have that life in you. And what we want to focus on is figuring out how to have that freedom in life. Now, a lot of people, the first part of like our freedom is that we are freed by God through His law. A lot of people look at the law and they think, what do you mean? I mean, that means God's on top and we're on the bottom. We're supposed to be slaves, right? But you see, the problem is that you don't know who God is. You may have made an image of God, but if you talk to the real God, do you know who the real God is? Is God someone you can trust? Well, I'm betting my soul that He is. When you look at the Ten Commandments, it said that it was out of the house of bondage, Egypt, that God delivered, that He saved us, that He freed us. And that when He made His law, it was to free us. You see, God said, thou shalt not steal, so that people don't steal from you. God said, thou shalt not commit adultery, so that you can trust your wife or husband. God said, thou shalt not covet, so that you can be at peace. Thou shalt not murder, so that you were not attacked. If we followed God's law, we would be a free people. But you see, man, in Ecclesiastes it says, man has set out. He was made upright, but he set out his own devices. So many ways we try to enslave ourselves. Maybe you're enslaved to sin in some way. Maybe you're a sexual addict. Maybe you're addicted to alcohol. Maybe you're addicted to drugs. And maybe it's something simpler. Maybe it's in your relationships. Maybe you have your own personal idols. But whatever that is, we want to find freedom through following God's Word. You see, if we follow God's Word, then it will make us free. What did Jesus say? He said, the truth shall set you free. Now, have you ever thought about that? A lot of times when I was young and growing up, I thought of the Bible as an instrument of slavery, of a bunch of rules that I couldn't live up to.